In this video, we'll show you how to change the front fender on your Honda Civic. You can find it on CarParts.com via the link in the description. For safety reasons, we strongly suggest watching our video on how to jack your Honda Civic safely. Now you need to remove the front bumper cover and the headlight assembly. To do so, we recommend watching our video, How to Replace the Headlight Assembly Honda Civic. Using a fork, remove the two rivets from the plastic trim on the top of the fender. You can now remove the plastic trim. Using the fork, remove the rivet holding the windshield frame. Shift the windshield frame seal by simply pulling on it. You need to remove the plastic cover on the windshield frame. One fender retaining bolt is difficult to access. To remove it, you should remove the windshield frame. However, we'll show you an alternative method that avoids this tedious operation. Put adhesive tape on the fender to protect it when you use the car trim removal tool to lift the windshield frame. Remove the plastic cover from the windshield frame to access the fender retaining bolt. Using a ratchet, an extender, and a long 10mm socket, remove the fender's upper retaining bolt. Remove the bolt holding a magnetic extender. Using a ratchet and a 10mm socket, unscrew both fender retaining bolts located along the hood. Then unscrew the retaining bolt under the retainer. Using a ratchet and a Phillips bit socket, remove the 3 screws that hold the mud flap. Using a fork, remove the 3 mudguard retaining rivets. Then shift the mudguard. Hey, it's Alex from CarParts.com. For great content, our best price, and fast shipping, download the CarParts.com app now. Using a fork, remove the pin rivet holding the plastic trim along the fender. Next, using a flathead screwdriver, remove the retaining rivet. You can now remove the plastic trim. Behind the mud flap, you can access the fender's lower retaining bolt. Brush the lower retaining bolt and spray it with penetrating oil. Using a 10mm socket, unscrew the bolt holding the lower part of the fender. Then remove the bolt. Place adhesive tape between the fender and the door to protect the door when removing and installing the fender. Open the door. Next, using a 10mm wrench, unscrew the bolt holding the fender in the door opening. You can now remove the fender. To do this, lift it slightly and pull it towards you, jiggling it back and forth. Remove the bumper cover retainer. You can order the fender used in the video on CarParts.com via the link in the description. Take the new fender, then put the retainer back in place. Put the new fender in position on the vehicle. Start by reinstalling the 2 bolts holding the fender along the length of the hood, without tightening them too much in order to keep the necessary play to adjust the alignment of the fender with the hood. The alignment of the fender with the door and the hood must be done with both the door and the hood in closed position. Carefully close the hood. Then align the fender, keeping an even spacing along the entire length of the hood. Once in position, open the hood, then finish tightening the 2 bolts. Put the retaining bolt back in place at the base of the windshield frame. Remove the adhesive. Replace the plastic cover. Put the rivet back in place. Put the windshield frame seal back in place. Put the upper plastic trim back in place. Then put the rivets back in place. Screw the retaining bolt back on under the retainer. Align the fender with the door and, while maintaining alignment, screw the bolt in the door opening back. Screw the lower fender retaining bolt back on. Put the lower plastic trim back in place. Then, put the 2 rivets back in place. Put the mudguard back in place. Then put the 3 rivets back in place. Replace the mud flap. Screw back in the 3 screws holding the mud flap. You can now put the headlight assembly and front bumper cover back in place. To do so, we recommend watching our video, How to Replace the Headlight Assembly, Honda Civic. You can now rest your vehicle on the ground. Operation complete.
Quality parts, priced right, CarParts.com.